Welcome back to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast where we go back each week and watch an episode and discuss it with fans like you. And wow, we are at the end of season 7, and this is just want to say thank you. And if you're a patron and you support this podcast, that's why we're still here. It's because of you. Go to patreon.com/Talkville and join today and give back to the show if you wanted to keep it going, because without you, we couldn't pay great folks like Ryan and Tim. And we just really appreciate your love and your passion for this show. We loved Cincinnati. We had a great time there doing what we do. We did Smallville nights. It was a big group, and saw a lot of patrons and had there was a lot of love to be had, and it was great. If you didn't get a chance to call in our hotline, leave a question for this week's episode, make sure you do it for future ones. All that and the information is more is in the show's description. And just if you want any really great Talkville merch, go to talkvillepodcast.com, or the Inside of You online store has tons of great stuff that you won't be able to get elsewhere. Funko Pops and scripts autographed and lunch boxes and all this other stuff. So go there. And Tom is at Tom Welling. Follow him on Instagram. Please follow me at the Michael Rosenbaum. The link tree is there. The cons for future cons, the Smallville Cruise, all that's in there. Smallville Cruise is next year. It's going to be a blast. So get tickets. I'm doing a pajama party, karaoke party. Tom's doing Uno night, and we're doing excursions, and get on that cruise. Without further ado, let's get into season 7, episode 17. This is Sleeper. Title Sleeper aired April 24, 2008. Whitney Rancic, director. Caroline Dries as the writer.
Mm-hmm.
Guest star Ann Openshaw as Agent Vanessa Weber. Synopsis: James Olsen, goes undercover for the FBI to spy on Chloe, who's hacking satellites to locate Kara. Meanwhile, Lex makes it to Zurich as he puts the final Veritas pieces together. A mysterious figure crawls in the vents above a swanky soiree. They plop into a hallway, tase a guy minding his own beeswax, and copies super classified data from the guy's briefcase. They sneak in the elevator, quick change into a tux, and lo and behold, it's Jimmy in some 007 cosplay.
Ba-da-ba-da.
14 hours earlier, Jimmy makes an incredible, inedible but well-intentioned breakfast. I got the word right finally. For Chloe to get their spark back. Using Lana as an excuse, she bails and reschedules for lunch while a mystery lady spies on them from a distance.
Mm-hmm. Who dat?
That's the scene we talk about when we talk to our special guest this episode.
Yes, I can't wait for you to.
I think he held his own in the best way.
He did.
You know what's funny is that I'll finish this part. At the Foundation, Chloe clickety-clacks among boxes of Oliver's hero crap. Clark urges her to hack government satellites to locate, find, and cure Lana. Chloe says maybe focus on finding Lex and those keys, but Clark says, nah, do the hacking. They compromise and decide that Swan's old journals may have answers.
What were you going to say a second ago?
Well, the agent, the woman.
Yeah.
I had a tough time believing her that she was an agent. I was like, she's not, there's no way this isn't real. Something's amiss. I don't know.
Didn't seem authentic.
I don't know. There's something off, but I don't know what it was. I just didn't know if I'm not saying she was bad. I'm saying I didn't know if she was playing somebody else and pretending to be an authority figure.
It is always a little funny, because she's probably, I'm assuming, a Canadian day player. Like they have them doing like U.S. government things.
Right.
It is a little funny.
So you're like a little like, I don't know. She knows exactly how that works.
I work for the FBI. It's like, yeah.
FBA? FBA?
I work for the FBI, eh?
FBI,
FBI, eh?
Is that a new t-shirt?
That's
FBI. It's a Canadian. All right, go ahead, Ryan.
At the Talon, Jimmy is approached by a woman who compliments his attractive hands, then introduces herself as Agent Vanessa Weber, FBI.
Hey.
She's convinced that Chloe is working for a terrorist sleeper cell, slides of a briefcase of gadgets, and urges Jimmy to track Chloe's movements, lest she arrest them both. A little bit of blackmail from the FBI. Damn it.
FBI.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's just gonna,
dude.
It's going to turn into another Baron.
Baron.
Damn, who's that?
The Baron.
Back at the Foundation, Jimmy confronts Chloe about missing lunch. She gets a text from Clark that says, "I found something," and ushers him out before he can pry any further, thus raising his suspicions. And then at the Luther Manor, Lex opens up his passport with a note inscribed from Lionel that reads, "Travel far, son." His security enters to inform him that he's been red flagged by the FAA, and his trip has been canceled.
Jimmy sneaks back into the Foundation with some kind of spy lock pick gadget. He uploads spyware on the computer, but hits a wall when he discovers that some files are confidential. It's nice to see Aaron Ashmore playing a bigger part in an episode, and he puts so much personality and life into his character, and so it was really cool. It was I don't think it was the best episode. I thought it was just like, what are we doing in this with 3 episodes to go after this?
Aaron is just like affable.
But he's a pro.
He's a pro.
He's a pro.
What I always feel from Aaron, what he brings is, in every moment, every scene, he brings curiosity from his character.
Which is perfect for his character.
So he's in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
curious about what's happening. And it always looks good when someone's trying to figure something out.
Yeah. At Chloe's apartment, Clark shows her a page in Swan's journal that suddenly appeared and instructs him to save Lana at the fortress. He says he wants to do everything he can to save Lana, and lucky for him, that goal Venn diagrams nicely with saving humanity.
Yeah.
That goal Venn
Venn diagrams. I turned Venn diagrams into a verb.
Venn diagram is
Venn diagrams nicely with
Yeah.
I never heard of that
It's a high
before.
school
but-
thing.
You know the Venn, like the circle with the meat in the middle, and like there's like 2 different things, but then like the middle has like the thing they have in
It's like-
common. You know,
it's
what
like
Venn
junior year of high school stuff.
Venn-
Yeah, I didn't do well in high school. Venn diagrams.
Venn
I mean,
diagram.
I remember, but I don't remember how to use it in that.
Well, I mean, using the Shaun of the Dead poster as an example, horror comedy, Shaun of the Dead,
Venn diagrams.
Venn diagram.
So it's juxtaposition. It
Hold
was,
on, wait. Oh, you know this?
I never used that word.
Oh,
I mean, listen,
But
I'm
you've
going to
seen
be
it.
on Michael's side here. If you ask me what a Venn diagram is, I don't think I can tell you. But I know that I've seen one
okay,
before.
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Or the Ryantists, if you care to divulge.
That's on
I'm
me.
not the most educated person in
That's
the
on me then.
room.
That's on me then.
I graduated with a 2.4. Come on, leave me alone. Go ahead.
My bad. I'm not trying to shame you.
Yeah, well, you did.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Clark heads to the barn to grab the ship key, but Jimmy suddenly appears and asks him for not so vague advice about a friend keeping secrets. Noticing the parallels, Clark drops some familiar knowledge, asking rhetorically, "Is knowing what's truly in her heart enough to know you can trust her?"
At the fortress, Clark shouts for Lana and Kara. He only hears static playback of Kara's voice, which says, "Brainiac wants to kill you." Clark realizes she's on Krypton. At the Foundation, Chloe researches Metropolis's hottest new spot, Ace of Clubs. It has everything: signature cocktails, a hackable penthouse, central access to a city satellite connected to another satellite in space that can locate Brainiac. The catch? Chloe can't get around the spyware, but knows Jimmy set it up.
Can you do that bit again? Because I realized I wrote it. Remember this character Stefan from SNL who did like
Oh,
the car
yeah.
promotions? It's like Metropolis's hottest new spot, Ace of Clubs. It has everything: signature cocktails, a hackable penthouse, central access to a city satellite connected to another satellite in space that can locate Brainiac.
The catch?
It's like a listing for sale.
Yeah, that's what I was going for with that one.
At the Smallville gas station, where bad shit goes down, Jimmy gets cold feet about his spy work. Agent Weber tells him to man up, hands him a bow tie with a little camera in it, and instructs him to watch Chloe like a hawk. Hey?
Aye. And then at the Ace of Clubs, Chloe and Jimmy do an awkward tango of "I know what you know, but I don't want you to think you know that I know that you know." And then they engage in a literal tango while Jimmy's device copies files from her phone.
Why the need to just all of a sudden take a 3 or 4 minute scene of dancing? I guess it's all part of the.
I can't remember if I noted it later, but like I think it was like the focal point of. It's like one of those things. Like, remember a couple episodes when there was the slow-mo fight between the superheroes? It feels like this was the scene they based everything around and then sort of like spent the most time on.
Okay, all right.
There's also a little bit about when they're talking about how maybe the spark is gone in the relationship.
Right.
If you watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
That's true.
Right.
it's a sparking situation.
They then excuse each other to indiscreet spy stuff where Jimmy reenacts the cold open while Chloe hacks away in a control room. Apparently, the writing staff crafted the whole episode around the tango scene, what Ryan said.
Oh, that's what I
Caroline Dries described it as an intentionally cinematic beat that blends spy tension and romantic comedy.
I did note that.
You did.
Thank you, Internet.
Internets.
Jimmy then re-enters the party and presents Weber with his intel, but she informs him that he just tased a guy for a list of employee health benefits, and Chloe misled him. So he tased somebody for nothing. There's that whole cool scene where he takes this guy out and it was for nothing.
Nothing.
But it was very cool.
James Bond would not tolerate that.
Yeah.
Weren't there repercussions? They never really got the repercussions of all that, right?
No, I mean they were going for the quick fix at the end where he just goes to Lex and like Lex is like, "Yeah, you're good." That was so. I think
Okay,
they just
all
kind of
right.
wiped it clean. It was an easy fix. I'm not saying it was the best fix.
Yeah, I just kind
It
of
was a
felt
fix.
like, why even put my suspenders on in this episode?
You kind of you put your we're subbing our suspenders for just a tuxedo in this one and just kind of going with it.
I guess so. They should have had
Oh, cummerbund.
tux suspenders of disbelief.
Is there a cummerbund? Yeah.
Mm. Anyway, go ahead.
Chloe miraculously locates the wormhole and emails herself the info. That's very impressive. Just then, the FBI busts in and arrests her. Jimmy is whisked down the hall by the FBI. He shimmies free and pops the agent in the neck with a cufflink dart, which also never existed in the Bond universe. That was a thing they made up on their own.
Ooh,
Oh.
how witty.
In the control room, Weber interrogates Chloe the only way an agent of the U.S. government knows how, with physical violence. Jimmy sneaks in and airplays his video game on the monitors. He and Weber get in a brutal fist fight. He knocks her out, tosses his bow tie on her, and says, "That man enough for you?" She called him out earlier for not being a man.
Back at the talent apartment, Chloe and Jimmy hash out their trust issues. Instead of breaking up, they play tonsil hockey. Jimmy says they don't have to worry about the feds because he's taking care of it. In a bank vault in Zurich, Lex is presented with the box he's been searching for. He takes it to a fancy room, unlocks it with the keys, and finds not a GD thing. He then locates a secret compartment in the lining that contains an envelope with a V seal. Inside is a cryptograph that clicks into place to again form the Veritas logo. Suddenly, the
That was
Swiss guy
cool.
attacks Lex with a Garrett?
A garrote wire.
Garrote. But Lex beats him down with the box. Back in his DP office, Lex calls for Jimmy and confirms the feds are off his case. But in return, Lex ominously tells him that employees are family and Jimmy would return the favor if need be. And in the Baron, Clark and Chloe discover that Kara is on Krypton, but in the year 1989... and Brainiac is trying to off baby Clark like Terminator, they decide that it's time for Kal-El to return home so he doesn't get never born. Burn.
That is an episode.
Yeah, we didn't talk a lot about in this episode because frankly, I didn't think it was necessary. And we have a guest.
It also was so visibly plot driven.
Yes.
Like it was showing you everything along the way.
Yeah.
So what's there to talk about?
And it wasn't character driven in terms of like the rest of the cast and moving the story. And for the most part, except for little moments, little tidbits. Closing thoughts. Does a Jimmy centric episode help broaden the series, or does it feel like a hokey distraction from the main story?
I liked it because I'm a Jimmy fan. So I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I love Jimmy too, but I just thought they could have done better.
Yeah. I mean,
It
they were
just-
definitely
it
trying to
just was-
fill. Also, they were trying to give Tom a break because, I mean, spoiler, he directs the next one.
It felt like the title, Sleeper.
I mean, I have a memory of going
But Jimmy
in
was great.
in earlier on in the episode when I go in to talk to Chloe when she's in the ISIS thing. I was in a tone meeting, had to leave the tone meeting, do hair and makeup, go do that scene. I went back to a tone meeting.
I get it.
So it was like the show was juggling a lot. And so I think they tried to keep it compact
Contained.
so they could handle it.
Closing thoughts also, Chloe flying a little too close to the sun with her double life as a hacker and meteor freak. And Jimmy's decision to go to Lex for help shows both desperation and Lex's growing power. Hotline time. Here we go. This is Heather and Greg, patron privilege.
Interesting, I have some interesting things of
note.
They're not that interesting. but I'll
Oh, the
read
guy
them.
who attacks Lex in Switzerland is the same guy who killed Gina last episode, actor Don Broach. And the website aceofclubmetropolis.com doesn't work anymore.
I tried.
In the comics, Jimmy's father was an actual spy.
So
Well,
says
that's
the
cool.
internet.
He should
so
have
maybe
said
that's
it.
what happened.
If that's true, they should have said something like, my dad was a spy.
Unless they've already established that his dad did something else in the show, but I can't remember.
I have a friend of mine whose dad was a spy, and he didn't know until after his dad had passed, and he went through his locked files.
Oh, damn.
He didn't know his entire life while his dad was alive that he was CIA.
My dad's
Yeah.
not a spy. He's just a guy. Talkville is brought to you by Factor. Factor meals are delicious, guys. Listen, if you are like me and ordering delivery service and spending a fortune on delivery fees or going to the grocery store and letting all your stuff rot in the refrigerator, and you just don't have time and you're busy and you want to eat a healthy, good meal that takes like a couple of minutes to make, it's Factor meals. I don't know why everyone doesn't get Factor meals. There's such a variety now. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Fall always feels like a reset. Between back to school, busier routines, shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. And that's why I love Factor meals. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic the season gets.
Support your wellness goals. Enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good-for-you fats.
Savor global flavors. For the first time, try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more.
From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life.
Feel the difference no matter your routine. Eat smart at factormeals.com/talkville50 off and use code talkville50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for a year. That's code talkville50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for a year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Talkville is brought to you by AG1. You have heard me and Tom and Ryan and so many people, patrons, talk about AG1. It is something that I do. It is a routine. And if you don't have a routine and you're just saying, sometimes it's so hard to take a step in the right direction. I'm telling you, my stomach was in shambles and I mix AG1 with a glass of water. It's so easy. It tastes delicious and it's got these probiotics and prebiotics in it, along with tons of vitamins and minerals. And I can't really function without it. I feel sharper. I feel like I have more focus, especially when I travel. I know Tom uses the travel packs constantly. It's really a great product, and that's why they've been with us for so long. I love AG1. Ryan, tell me more about AG1.
Well, you know that crowded airports and travel can cause a strain on our systems. That's why AG1 has antioxidants, probiotics, and functional mushrooms to help support immune resilience.
Darkness and shorter days may throw off your rhythm. Superfoods and B vitamins help support steady energy without the crash.
And holiday meals means getting lost in sweets and snacking. A full spectrum of micronutrients from whole foods help fill nutrition gaps with AG1.
End of the year can bring stress and disrupted habits. Prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes help support regularity and gut resilience. Head to drinkag1.com/talkville to get a free welcome kit with an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/talkville. All right, we got a special guest here today. He's been on the show before. But when were you on? You were on recently. It's Aaron Ashmore.
In the summer, I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
In the summer. In
Yeah.
the summer.
Time flies.
In the city.
Well, we appreciate you coming back, especially on this episode.
Oh, guys, anytime.
Did you get a chance to watch Sleeper?
Yeah, I rented it yesterday and gave it a good skim. It's been a long time. I knew it was like a James Bondy spy type episode, but I had forgotten some of the
You
Some of the details.
you look good in a tux.
who does it?
I actually thought that. I was like, I never looked that good in tux. I just,
No, you don't. So to answer your question, Aaron, Michael.
I don't think I've ever worn a tux.
To a prom? Did you ever go to prom?
No. Dude, look at me. Do you think I ever went to
Makes
prom?
sense.
Never went to a high school dance. Wasn't popular.
Graduate?
Didn't
Is
have
that
a
what
lot of
you're telling-
friends.
You didn't graduate. Understood.
I graduated, but I wasn't popular, and I never went to a dance or a prom or anything.
Oh.
But this isn't a sad story about me. This is about you. Did you go to prom?
I did. I went, I actually went 3 times. I went the year before I graduated because a bunch of my friends were older. I went the year I graduated. And then a couple years after I graduated, I was working at the mall, and a girl who was also working at the mall kind of asked me to go to the prom with her. She was a couple years younger. So I went with her. So I went to 3 proms, Michael.
Throm.
Just saying.
You went to
Yes.
Throm.
Yeah.
Sleeper is the episode. What do you, when you're watching it, what comes to you? What do you what do you think of?
It makes me think of the difference between like a 22 episode season and like a 10 or 13 episode season, because I definitely feel like it's kind of a filler episode to a certain degree, like in some of its elements.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, there's still a lot of interesting plot stuff, but I was like, a Jimmy centric, like James Bondy episode is just like, you know, it's kind of funny and silly and but not necessary to the plot. Like when I was watching it, I was like, this is fun. I did really enjoy the sort of teaser going into it. Like I thought it was pretty slick. I forgot how cool it was to go through the party and through the vents and down all this stuff, and then Jimmy's crawling through the vents and doing all this stuff. I thought that was actually really, really well done. I also remember having to learn to freaking tango for that. And just being like, I've had to do it like 2 or 3 times in my career, like dance scenes and whatever. I'm like, give me a few drinks. I'm happy to go dance on the dance floor at a wedding or whatever. But like a choreographed, like specific dance, I was
with a camera moving around.
How many hours of choreography did you have?
Not as much as I needed. You know,
I think you look great.
They provided. Fair enough. Yeah. It's like Allison did great. She's like, people have a little dance experience, but it was really fun. And again, it's one of those things where you're like, I don't know if I can do this thing, but then you do it and you watch and you're like, all right, looks pretty good.
Yeah.
The other thing I also noticed about the episode, actually I had a couple good scenes with both of you guys. Actually, Tom, you and I had a pretty good scene. I think it was in the bar, and like I'm kind of coming to you saying, I think I'm talking about Chloe, about thinking I've sort of figured something out about her, but you think that I'm referring to you. And so I don't know. I just kind of like that scene. I feel like they didn't lean super heavy into the Clark and Jimmy stuff as far as them being friends and stuff. But there were scenes here and there where they were kind of connecting or talking, and I like that. And then at the end of the episode, Michael, you and I had a scene where it's like you're sort of taking me under your wing a little bit or offering me a little bit of help. And I thought that was interesting, but I don't really remember that ever played out into anything. I thought that was going to be an interesting storyline where it's like, oh, interesting. And then it didn't really pan out. But I remember when I watched the scene, I was like, oh, that could have been a cool.
I know.
Well, by the way, panning out with Lex means you're dead.
Yeah. And also, well, also you had to remember that after your episode, there's only 3 left that I'm in before I leave the show.
Well, that's the other thing I was thinking is like,
yeah, they didn't have time to pan
when
it
did you
out.
leave the show? I knew it was sort of coming to an end. Also, I was thinking the same thing.
I don't think people, I really thought I was going to do it, but
one thing I wanted to say while you're here, Aaron, is I remember getting ready for the prep of this episode. And I remember that it was so centric on your character, and immediately was like, felt such a sense of relief because it was you. And I knew, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, yes, he can do this. And I remember I have this vague memory of talking to you on set of like, you're good, right? And you're like, yeah, as you are. And I'm like, you're in a lot of scenes, because a lot of times that's not the case. Like, this is your episode. And you were like, I'm good. And I'm like, I believe you. Like, and that's such a relief. Like, you're so golden all the time. And I just wanted to say that while you were here, because I'm going to talk about that while we do the episode. But I wanted you to hear that.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. It was a fun episode. The other one more thing, just because I'm thinking of all the things rewatching it, it is really interesting to watch something years and years after the fact, because obviously there's things that you're remembering, but it also brought up some things in my mind that at the time I was kind of pushing for character wise, and seeing it, I'm like, oh yeah, I could see what I was pushing for and what they didn't go for. But basically, in this episode again, also Chloe and Jimmy are kind of butting heads, and it's this like their relationship thing of Jimmy being a bit, I don't know, clingy or needy or whatever. And I really noticed the difference between how sort of Chloe as a character was like very mature and capable, and then Jimmy was kind of not. He was, and I remember asking sometimes, in not specifically for this episode, but just in general in the writing, if I could play it a little more of her equal and a little more on her level, and them always being like, "No, that's not very Jimmy Olsen. We need you to stay in this sort of zone." And I was just like, it doesn't then allow for this relationship or this dynamic to really go anywhere or be realistic. And watching it back, I really noticed that. I was like, oh yeah, he seems like a little kid in a way, and she feels like this grown up, and there was a bit of a distance there that I kind of
you guys had this really great scene in whatever that loft thing is above the cafe, but you're so vulnerable and honest, and she's so closed off. I mean, you literally say, are you still into this? She doesn't even answer the question. She talks about how busy she is, and I don't know if that's mature or not. In fact, I feel like you're being mature by being vulnerable.
Yeah, I felt that too. I felt there was a shift.
Enough. Yeah, I guess it's more the dynamics. Yeah, no, that's an interesting take too, Tom.
I thought there was a shift in maturity in that episode for you. It was almost like there was an arc of like, I don't know, you just came to, you're like, hey, all right, this is how it is. I'm going to step up. I'm a man, like in or out, that kind of thing. So I felt like your character had grown. My question to you was, back on what Tom was saying, did you feel like sort of like, oh, wow, this is what Tom has to do every episode because you were in every scene? Did you feel kind of like that? Like, this is exhausting?
No, I think I was excited for it because I always want to do more. I mean, that being said, you give me Tom's workload and stuff, I'd probably be like, oh my God. But because that isn't the case, that wasn't the case all the time, I was happy to be given the opportunity to sort of drive an episode or be a focal point in an episode. That was, I don't know. I think that's exactly what I wanted. And so I was happy that that was given to me. But of course, it's, I sort of talk about this sometimes with people and about like how freaking insane your schedule was, Tom. Like how absolutely, I can't even,
he couldn't do it now.
10 months off.
I would
for 10 years.
I wouldn't do it now.
Yeah, no way. That's the thing. Once you've done it, you're like,
mental breakdown. To be honest with you,
dude.
And maybe you did at times. I don't know, but I feel like that level of demand and pressure and responsibility would,
I think the breakdown stuff happened after the show. Like there wasn't time for a breakdown. Does that make any sense?
I hear you. It's like, you're head down, you just going, and then when it's done, like,
Well, think about it, Tom. I mean, you had this workload for 10 straight years, and then all of a sudden everything's done. You go through a divorce, the show's over. That takes a mental toll. I'm sure you hit a point where you were like, not midlife crisis, but sort of like a mental, like, holy shit, I feel like over.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't happen in like a moment. I think there was a time period of acting out for sure, trying to make up for lost time, so to speak.
Sure.
I mean, I took a break for a long time and realized, what am I doing? And sort of got back in. But I mean, to be honest, I didn't know any better at the time when we were on the show.
Yeah,
I just thought
young.
That's how. I didn't have any friends who were on leads and shows to know. I do remember when Jared and Jensen were doing their renegotiation. I had a dinner with them. They were asking me questions, and it was the first time I heard myself talking that, I had a lot to share about this situation. Otherwise, I felt like I was a lighthouse out in the ocean by myself a lot of the time. But that's also my own thing. I could have reached out. I could have, but I didn't have the tools at the time.
Yeah. And it's hard to know until you've done something like that or been through it. And again, it'd be lovely to be able to be in the moment of something and figure out what it is that you need or what would help you. But most of the time it's after the fact. You kind of look back and you sort of understand what was going on or whatever. So, but anyways, mad respect to both of you guys for how much you worked. But I know, Tom, you were a workhorse, man. They whipped you and rode you into the ground. I feel probably in the first you seemed like crazy, right? I mean, just insane.
I remember James Marshall saying, "You're our horse." And I remember saying him, "Don't ride me into the ground."
Yeah.
Like we had this conversation once.
Or
and he was
shoot
like,
me now.
Yeah. But I mean, it just, I don't know. It just, I've said this before, but your work becomes the focus. Your work becomes, easy is a bad word. Your work becomes your focus and your life disappears.
Yeah.
Unless you're really careful, unless you're aware. I know that now.
Well,
I didn't know that.
I will say this about Tom. I've seen a complete changeover from when we were on the show, because people are like, "Were you tight on the show?" It's like, yeah, we were friends, but we weren't, we didn't hang out. We weren't like friend. Now we're like brothers. But like Tom, you could have taken like everything and all the stuff that happened and the show's done and fallen apart and gone off the deep end and done whatever. But you turned it around. You met the woman of your dreams. You had beautiful kids. You're doing what you want. You're actually in the moment now. You're like, you do the cons and you actually have, your attitude is completely different. And it's like, it's a real joy to see because.
Well, I mean, listen, Aaron's here and I don't want to talk about me too much, but we were just together this weekend in Cincinnati, Mike, you and I, and you had sort of laid down on the ground and you were like, "Aren't you tired?" And I said, "No, I'm exhausted." And he goes, why don't you lay down? And I'm like, "Oh, that's because the show lasted 10 years." So it's still in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I do have this, when I commit, I'm like, yeah. But
Aaron, what's going on now?
I just finished fourth season of a show called SkyMed that I work on. Shoots sort of about 4 hours north of Toronto. Beautiful landscapes, nurses and pilots rescuing people. I get to play pilot on that. It's super fun. And I just wrapped that. So that's coming out. I did a show called I Will Find You, which is a new Netflix show.
Nice.
I had like a great sort of recurring part on that this summer. I think it's gonna be a big show.
Nice.
And yeah, some irons in the fire, but nothing else. So I'm always just hustling. And
yeah, but you're on the
luckily-
Netflix list now, so that's good.
Yeah. No, I've been really lucky. They brought me back for some different things, and they keep using me. So that's a great list to be on. Hopefully, I can keep working there. And yeah, but it's always a hustle, right? Just grind for the next stuff. And in this very strange time in our business, So I feel very lucky, but I'm also always looking for the next thing. You guys hiring? You guys what are you guys doing?
Mike might be.
No, I'm
We'll
just
see.
I'm pitching shows and trying to get my movies made and that kind of stuff, doing the podcast, doing the music. My album just came out. So I'm just trying to live my best life, but like, if you have to take care of yourself. You have to put time aside for yourself no matter what. And you guys have kids, and I know that seems daunting to me, but like, you still have to give yourself time to like.
It is, but rewarding, right? Like it's the bow. But again, like I'm super stoked. Like this week, in November, get to see with you guys in Liverpool at a con. I'm going to Philadelphia, some sort of horror con in Philadelphia. My brother's going to be there too.
Nice.
So like a great weekend. We get to hang out. So. This
Do you
is
guys
kinda
sit
like
at the
my,
same table? Is that confusing for people, or do you have separate tables?
I don't know what they'll. Yeah, well, if we're on opposite sides of things, it's too confusing. If we're
Right.
side by side with a name behind us, then at least people know who they're seeing. If not, it's a
Just
disaster.
tell him to shave, clean shaved, and you have a beard, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, no issues. Yeah, but I don't know. I probably mentioned this to you guys, but when we do conventions separately, we have a little game where we take tally, usually write it on the table, all the people that come up and think that I'm Sean, and vice versa, like there. And then I take a picture and we take tallies at the end of the thing. I'm like, well, 43 people thought I was you at this convention. Then he'll be like, oh, I got about like 27 at this one. So we try and have fun with it.
I love it.
Why do you
unfortunately,
guys sign each other's signatures just to make people?
I don't, just because I feel like
That's
you know,
fraudulent.
Sometimes people like want to take a picture as they're just walking down the street, and I just don't have the energy to be like, that's not me. That's not me. You know what I mean? I'm just like, sure, do a quick like, hey, what's up? But nah, if it's for if it's at a con and somebody's paying, I want to make sure that they get what they want. I tell people, and sometimes people are like, oh, I don't care, just do it anyways, and I'll do that. But
all right, we love you, dude. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah.
We'll probably call you again, so just be prepared.
I want to host season 8 of Talkville.
I hope you do. See you guys in a couple weeks. I hope we talked enough about the episode. I don't know. We're talking about other stuff too, but hopefully
I think fans will like to hear what you're doing and just us just shooting the shit. I hope so. If not, I'm sorry. What can you say? Ryan also said they might be calling you about hosting with Tom and Ryan the season 8 of Talkville if I don't do it.
Amazing.
You'd be a good host.
Talkville is brought to you by Wayfair. If I haven't already told you, this beautiful table in front of me is from Wayfair. Wayfair is your one-stop shop for everything. It's the place to shop for all things home, everything from sofas to spatulas, you name it, they have it, and you can get up to 70% off during Wayfair's Black Friday sale. Wayfair also has styles you can't find anywhere else. No generic pieces you've seen 100 times, so you can make your home way more you. Starting October 30th, you can shop Wayfair's can't-miss Black Friday deals all month long. Plus, you can sit back and relax with Wayfair's fast and easy shipping just in time for the holidays.
And Wayfair has a huge selection of home goods ranging from appliances and area rugs to beds and wall art.
Everything you need for your living room, outdoor areas, bedroom, and more. I told you, it's a one-stop shop. Wayfair makes it easy with fast and free shipping, even on the big stuff. They'll even help you set it up. What are you waiting for? I don't know. I love Wayfair. I use them all the time. I love this freaking table, and I'm going to get more things with Wayfair. In fact, I just got a new cabinet through Wayfair in my office. I have to show you.
Look at that.
Yeah, I just keep buying stuff.
Look at Wayfair.
Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday deals for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. Patron privilege, Heather and Greg. Grether.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what Grether has up their sleeve. Let's see. Here we go.
Hi guys, this question is for the season 7 episode Sleeper.
So in the beginning of the episode, we spotted Dan Shea, stunt coordinator extraordinaire, who's worked on some of our favorite shows. Tom, do you have any memories of working with him in the later seasons?
Thanks a lot, guys. Hope to see you soon.
Love you guys.
I think what happened, and this happened maybe a season or two before, but we got into a really good rotation of 5 or 6 directors. And you get a shorthand with those guys and they do with you, and it just makes things so much simpler because you're familiar with them. When you're being directed in episodic television by somebody you've never met before, there's always a little bit of like, what are they saying? How do I understand what they're saying? How do I play what they're saying? But with Whitney, it was just like, got it, let's do it.
Yeah. Heather H. What does Heather H have up her sleeve?
Hey guys, it's Patron Heather H. I have a question for Michael about the season 7 episode Sleeper. When Lex is decoding that cryptograph in the Ace of Clubs, it almost feels like he's decoding himself. Like the prop mirrors his own inner obsession. Did you ever think of the scene that way, or was it more about wrestling with a really complicated gadget that day? Thanks, love you guys.
Love you
this
too.
This podcast means the world to us.
Aw, thank you.
I'm glad she took all that much from that.
You know, it really was me trying to, like, all my passion and obsession was this. I have to decipher. I have to figure it out. That's where I was focused. I didn't think of it like that as sort of a metaphor or, looking at myself, trying to dissect myself. But the interesting take on it, here's Michael P. Michael P. Let's see what he's got here. Hey guys, Michael P. here.
Hey, it's Michael P. from Texas. This question's for the Ryan Tist in regards to the episode Sleeper. Ryan, I'm a big fan of your presentation from earlier in the season in regards to seismic theory, but I'm curious your thoughts on Chloe's theory of vortex time travel. Is her theory possible?
Possible?
Little Star Trek there.
He had some glasses, Tom, and he pulled them off. Right when he said possible.
I love that.
That's 90% of the reason I chose it, Michael P. I don't have wormholes do exist. I mean, the thing I do want to do most of all is just do that thing where they explain time travel in shows. They say like time. This is how time is perceived.
Space time.
This happens in every show, and then but like what they do is they
It's parallel.
punch a hole through the time and they speed through it. I didn't explain that properly, but what I did was I folded a piece of paper in half and then I punched a hole in it, and that explains time travel somehow. So if anyone was curious,
But does that have anything to do with the Venn diagram?
the jury's still out on Venn diagrams.
Caitlin says Clark really brushed aside the whole Lex will be able to control you issue. Does that seem fair to you, given how worried he is about Lana, or do you guys think he should be taking this threat way more seriously? I know the potential of someone being able to control me would be right up at the top of my priority list, and I don't have superpowers to boot.
This kind of goes back to the idea that this episode could have been dropped in order anywhere.
Yeah.
It didn't speak to what we just saw the episode before at all.
That's, I think, why I didn't like this episode, is because it could have been dropped anywhere, and yet it was dropped here, and I don't think this was the right time to do it. So that brings us up to Rosenbaum rating system. Let's go to Ryan. Be honest. We all love Jimmy. We all love Aaron. He's brilliant, but don't let that...
Yeah, heater.
A heater.
Heater's fine.
Tom Welling.
I'll give it a 1.
A 1 rose.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 1 bomb.
I'm gonna give it a 1 bomb.
1 bomb.
Average out.
Death and save count 0, dead 1 save. Lex saved himself in Switzerland. It's unlikely the FBI would have killed Chloe. Through 17 episodes, 22 dead and 41 saved. Series 240 dead, 270 saved. And now it's time. This is going to be a really difficult one.
There is a favorite scene this time.
Ryan's favorite scene.
Is it when he throws? Can I just get this over with?
No.
Is it when he throws? When he throws it? No.
I don't know. From the bow tie.
Scene 1, the tango. Scene 2, Jimmy saves Chloe. Scene 3, Lex gets attacked in Zurich.
Tango.
Jimmy saves Chloe.
3.
Lex in Zurich. I was going to say that, but I was like, fuck.
You didn't want to talk
pick
about
one
your own
Jimmy
character.
scene. I mean, it was good. I mean, it was kind of it was weird because it was out of character for the episode, but it kind of kept the story going. And it was just another sign of Lex's brutality. Beat him to death with a brief. I was going to say briefcase, but you know what I mean.
Well, the good thing about this episode is it's over. But the best thing about this episode is that the next episode is much better. And the director is with us, Tom Welling. So we're going to get into that next week. Stick around next week as we check out an alternate fictional universe that's a little too close to our current one and talk about episode 18, Apocalypse. Let's take the discussion online. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast or Talkville Pod. Show your support by please joining patreon.com/Talkville. And if you want more info, like merch from the show or hotline number, you can find all that in the description. And remember, folks, always hold on to Smallville. All right. Well, now it's time to read our lovable patrons who give back so much to this show. As you know, patreon.com/Talkville if you want to join and support. And let's read out their names, Ryan. Ryan's here.
I'm here.
Little Lisa, the Miss Leanne, Raj C, Santiago M, Thomas, Tom Turner, Shane W, Betsy D, Abby P, Karen Apple M, 99 more, Leilani N, Brett G, always hold on to Smallville, Garrett W, Bob K, Tom N, Jason W, Lana rhymes with Banana W, Nancy D, Brian G, Grape Jelly 817.
Ooh, Amanda R, Teddy 127, Michael P, hey Mike, Brian R, Ryan R. Want to make sure I get that right because I don't want to. Anyone confusing him for Brian.
Okay.
I get it all the time. Randy B, Craig G, Heather and Greg. I made Talkville say butts. Clark's mom, Kristen B, Finky. Damn, who's that? Jeanette E, General Zod, Doug R, Shanna I, Ken the Limerick Guy, Corey L.
Mr. Homar K, Claire M, D Brown, Jules M, Eldon Supremo, Brian P, McBurts, Ginger Moose, Christoph S, Michael Kane doesn't blink, Sebastian F, Wolfie and Little Wolfie, Matthew and Lincoln B, Mary Lou L, Matt Maverick, Randy S, Cassie B, Danny Mo, Maribel, Mary K, Sophie L, when you're rich, you aren't crazy, you're eccentric, Derek R at the House of L, the Alexander Castle, Daryl E, Jenny B76, Momika T, Ms. M, Emily Who Locked, Jeffrey K, previously on Smallville, Keith B. Cookie K.
Libertariat, Ivan G, Danny Z from Cleveland, Biagio C, Madison H, as told by Helen, Dr. J, Kurt F, Clovis 28, Dr. G, and Dr. T, Flirtatious B, Eduardo and Nancy per 6, Bobby B, Kendrick F, Stacy Beth L, Other Brother Daryl, Melanie P.
Charlie M, Cheyenne F, AJ Sisson, Heather H, Tom and Michael's friend Mickey, Karen H or Sierra. I think it's Karen H.
I feel like it's Karen.
Hubs, Jackie J, John W, Bradley H, Nick H, Dan L. Yes, David A, Sierra, Steph Meister, J, the Broken Hero Brooklyn, Ann M, Chris F, Kyle N, Bianca S, JD Rocks, Jacob G, Ramina N, Coco Beach Kidneys, Anna H, Danny R, Lexi and Sid, Adriana G, the Blue Kiwi, Asia K. Can I call her Asia?
Sure.
I think it's Isa or Aza. We have to find that out when she comes up to me at con and go, my name is Isa. Marky Keds and Sexy Lexi. We love you. Couldn't do it without you. Thanks for being here.